What's up? I was gonna make today a dear fat ass video, but because I thought I had two of them, but one of them turned out to be I don't know if they were trying to piss me off or if they're just trying to make me laugh, but I laughed. It was pretty funny. I don't know if they copied and pasted or wrote this letter. It looks like copy pasta to me, but what do I know? Like from some cavalry officer in the 1860s. I don't know. It was pretty fucking funny. So I to give 10 out of 10 on that one. Since I no longer have enough content to justify a dear fat ass video, I suppose I'll sort of answer another question, which goes along with some confusion that some people seem to have had, or some concerns some people have had over some of the things that I've said recently. Mainly being, the fact that I've stated that I'm against, that I'm for Ron Paul's sort of foreign policy with little involvement in other nations' business, and yet I turn around last video and talk about how I think we should do whatever we need to do to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. And that's true. Those are two contradictory positions. At least it would seem that way, because the thing is that you can't just pick one position. It's really hard to do that. Anybody who does that is usually wrong. Okay, it's usually a mixture of both sides that makes something work. For instance, nuclear proliferation is a direct threat to the safety of the people of the United States, and therefore it becomes the business of the United States government and the United States military to do something about it. I believe that 100%, that Iran having a nuclear weapon is a danger directly to the United States, if not to the people in the United States, and at least to its soldiers overseas and other interests overseas. Now, fair enough, if we hadn't had an aggressive foreign policy, we wouldn't have troops overseas to be in danger, but that's really a moot point right now, because they're already over there. You can't form your political theories around what you wish the world was like. So that's why I seem to hold a contradictory position on that. And somebody asked me, well, if you can go over there and fuck with people about their nuclear weapons, even though I don't necessarily think we should invade or bomb Iran, if you think we can do that, what about going into places like Darfur, where there is genocide and whatnot? And my position on that is no, we shouldn't, because genocide in Darfur is not a direct threat to American interests. That's just the way it is. It sounds callous, but America's job is not to police the world. America's job is not to make everything nicer, because first of all, we can't. On either of those points, we can't police the world, and we can't make everybody's lives better. The American government's one and only job is to protect the interests of the American people. And as unfortunate it is that people in places like Darfur are hacking each other apart with machetes, that does not endanger American lives, okay? That should be the criteria for deployment of military forces, is direct danger to American lives. All right, that's what the military is for. And on that issue, another thing I want to touch on, which somebody asked, but I thought I answered it in the comments, but I thought I'd answer it in the video to make it more clear. A while back, I don't know when it was, I answered a question, or I talked about my position on deserters, i.e. these people who, like this one woman who went to basic training, and then when she got off leave after basic training, she fled to Canada. And they wanted to extradite her, and I don't think they have yet. And my position was that she should go to prison. And somebody said, come on, Chris. I mean, is it really that big a deal? And yes it is, okay? This is what you have to understand about the military, all right? Militaries only function properly with discipline. Discipline is the number one thing that makes an army work well. Not high technology, all right? Not bunches of money. It's discipline. Discipline is key. When the Roman Empire, when the Roman army was disciplined, they conquered all. When Alexander the Great's army was disciplined, they conquered all. When the German army was disciplined, they conquered all. As soon as they started to lose discipline, as soon as they started to falter, everything fell apart. Where the greatest strength of the United States Army is the fact that we're a volunteer force of people who want to be in the military and people who are very well disciplined. So that's the first key point here, which is why in combat, first of all, in combat, you definitely can't run away from your people, all right? And I know it seems like two different things, like in peacetime combat, but it's not, and that's not how the military sees it, and that's the way it should be. They treat a desertion in peacetime the same way they would if that person had ran away in the middle of a battle, which is how it should be, because you have to show that you can maintain discipline. Now, I don't think we should maintain discipline the way that the Roman armies used to, with decimation, where they'd kill 1 in every 10 soldiers. I'm not suggesting anything like that. But if capturing some stupid bitch who didn't know what she was getting into and putting her in prison for a couple of years for being a fucking idiot and letting her think about her life will help instill some discipline, then I'm 100% for that. Not only do you have the issue of discipline, you have the issue that it costs hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and depending on what job a person is doing, maybe millions of dollars to train a military person, in the Army, the Navy, whatever. So not only when you're deserting are you endangering the lives of your fellow soldiers, not only are you breaking discipline, you're breaking a law and an oath that you took, but you're also stealing, because you, as an individual, don't exist when you're in the military. We own you. We, the taxpayers, we, the United States government, we, the United States military, possess you. Okay, when you flee to Canada, you are stealing from the United States government. That's why these people need to go to prison. All right, you can't allow shit like that to slide. Okay, just like the couple of people that have really been caught and pinned on some of the rapes and shit that have gone on in Iraq, people have been going to prison for life, and that's the way it should be. I think that they should shoot these people, frankly, but I don't know. I guess that's not PC enough for the military these days. But that's why the military has to do shit the way it does. All right. So I guess I answered a few questions. I'll talk to you later.